Hey, what's up guys? Travis with TCustomz Productionz, TCustomz.com. Revisiting a session that I opened up a couple days ago, shot a video on where I was talking to you about a different sampling approach I was taking for this beat, where I was actually manipulating the sample in audio format. Now, in the past couple days, I finalized the instrumental. Like I told you then, I was only 90% done with the track, so I got it finalized, got the arrangement and everything mixed down, and I uploaded it. When I uploaded the final beat, I had some comments. I thought this question was kind of interesting. Nims Lord, it says, can someone name the things in this beat, like the chorus, the intro, the verse, the bridge, etc., or is it just randomized? So what I thought I would do today, now that this track has been finalized, kind of explain the way this track is arranged and why I arranged the beat the way I did. I shot a couple different videos on arranging a hip-hop instrumental, and I did a pretty detailed video. I went down and showed you a lot of different tips that I use and different things to take into consideration depending on the type of track, different formats that are standard. And one of the things I mentioned in that particular video was that I don't always adhere to a strict format or a standard format for any of my instrumentals. Now, some of them kind of follow that naturally, but I typically just use my ears. If it works out and you got an intro that goes right into a hook, goes 16-bar verse, another hook, and it just kind of works that way, then great. This particular track is not varying that much from a standard hip-hop format, 16-bar verse, 8-bar hook. I did something a little bit different at the beginning, a little something different at the end, so I thought I would just break this down a little bit. What I'm going to be doing to demonstrate and kind of separate some of these sections is these locators at the top. So you can see I kind of already have some of these in place. So this track started with a 4-bar intro. Now, if you watched the last video where I break down how I actually made this beat and worked with this sample, you'll know that I talked about two primary loops that I found in the sample. One of those loops ended up being the chorus. A lot of times when your beat drops after your intro, you might go right into, say, a verse or right into a hook. In this case, I'm almost looking at this as like a second intro. So if I come up here to these labels, I'll just go ahead and label this intro. This was the first 4-bar. And then this is, I don't know what you would call this. There's a number of things that could be done here. This is actually where the first verse, at least the way that I had envisioned it, this is where the first verse is supposed to start. So this first loop starts with a little less or a little more stripped down instrumentation, and then it kind of builds up as the second loop comes in. And for me, with this particular beat, the way this intro was, when the beat dropped, it didn't make sense for me to go right into this second loop. It didn't make sense for me to go right into the verse because this verse is actually a variation of this first loop. So what I decided to do was, when the beat dropped, just kind of introduce and give the listener a sense of what the instrumental is going to sound like overall by just playing the primary loops that the beat was formed from. So those loops sound like this. This is actually where I intended for the verse to come in, just because it's a more stripped down version of the first sequence like I explained in that video. And I also did some additional filtering to that to make room for the vocals. And so this is where it becomes pretty much a standard format. So I go a hook, then I do another verse. I'll make this verse 2. I'll make this another hook. The hook after the second verse, which starts right here, is when I brought in the original loop that I started the beat out with. And so for the outro, as I'm fading the track out, I went back and reintroduced the initial loop without the extra chopping like it was in the verse. Just to kind of recap, I started with a 4-bar intro. I then went on for an extended intro, which could go on for 16 bars or just this 8, and then the actual hook could start here depending on how the MC wants to approach it. The first verse starts 16 bars after the beat drops, and that goes on for 16. You got an 8-bar hook. 16 bar verse, 8 bar hook, and then just a quick outro. The version of the instrumental that I did upload on YouTube has one less hook and one less verse than I'm showing here. The full length versions are going to be available for download on my site. Like I said, this pretty much follows standard format as far as a verse, hook, verse, hook. The only real difference is this intro, this kind of extended intro, and this outro could even be looked at as a bridge if you wanted to extend it to another verse and another hook. Essentially, within the first minute of this track, you're being introduced into like 4 different sequences here almost, because this intro is a totally separate sequence. This is a loop, this is a loop, and then this is actually a variation of this loop. These are all very unique, and there's a lot of different change-ups and things going on. And so as far as keeping the track interesting, that was another reason why I changed the formatting in the beginning. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. If you want more information on arranging an instrumental, I'll link those videos in the description. If you'd like to see this breakdown on how I was chopping and rearranging this sample, I'll also link that video in the description too. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave those in the comments. Connect with me on social media, shoot me an email. Links to sound kits, mixing and mastering, music production, coaching, and all that's in the description as well. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. So it's good to have that arrangement, that original arrangement, if someone wants to record a song, and then also maybe you want to experiment with having alternate arrangements and make both of those available. The sounds included in this kit are very unique, brand new, never before released in any other sound kit before. They're all sounds from my personal collection. I've personally picked, EQ'd, further processed. I'm certain that you will not find these sounds in any other sound pack or any other virtual instrument.